ትንሽ ብትነግሪኝ ስለራስሽ?
No, sure. እንዳልሽው ያው
ባታችሁ ማን ያህል ይሻለኝ በድጋሚ ተገናኝተናል። ዛሬ ደግሞ ብቻዬን አይደለሁም፣ እንግዳም አለኝ። እንግዳዬ ራሷን ታስተዋውቃለች። ዛሬ ስለ ፓወር አፕ ቀለል ያለ ሲምፕል የሆነ ፕሮጀክት ታሳየናለች። ከዛ በኋላ ደግሞ እንዲሁ ሼርፖይንት ላይ አይቲ ላይ ህይወት ምን ይመስላል፣ እንዴት አድርጎሽ እዚህ ደረስሽ የሚለውን በኋላ ላይ እናነሳለን። አሁን ግን ዳይሬክት ወደ ፓወር አፕ ብንገባ ይሻላል። እንግዳይ ሜሮን ትባላለች። ሜሮን ይልማ ብዙ ሰው ያውቃል። በተለይ አሌክስ ጋር የተማረ ሰው ባች ሜሮን ባች ስንት ነበርሽ?
ባች 24
ያ ባች 24 ነበርሽ። እኔ እንኳን ባች 33 ነበርኩ። ግን የሚገርማችሁ የኔ ባች ላይ የነበረ ሰው ሁሉ ማርኬት ላይ የወጣው የሜሮንን ፓወርፖይንት ፕሬዘንቴሽን ይዞ ነው። እና እንግዲህ ለ10 ዓመት ያህል የቀጠለ ለ10 ባች ማለት ለ10 ዓመት ሳይሆን ለ10 ባች ያህል አሁንም እየተጠቀመ ያሉ ሰዎች ይኖራሉ። እና በጣም ትልቅ የሆነ እርዳታ ነው ያደረገልን ለኛ የሷ ፓወርፖይንት ፕሬዘንቴሽን። ብዙ ነገሮችን ይዞ ስለነበረ በሱ እየተዘጋጀን ነበረ ማርኬት ላይ የወጣ ነው። እስኪ ሜሮን አንቺ ደግሞ ትንሽ ብትነግሪኝ ስለራስሽ?
No, sure. እንዳልሽው ያው እኔም የአሌክስ ነኝ። የአሌክስ ባች 24 አሁን almost 4 ዓመት ከግማሽ ሆነኝ actually ስራ ላይ ሆኜ ማለት ነው። So እንዳልኩሽ I really admire what you're doing. በጣም ጎበዝ ታይምሽን ወስደሽ እንደገና you know what you learned አሌክስ ጋር or አሁን ስራ ላይ ሆነሽ የምትማሪውን ነገር or በራስሽም ሆነ የምታጠኚውን ነገር እንደዚህ ታይምሽን ወስደሽ organize አድርገሽ ቪዲዮ ሪኮርድ አድርገሽ ፕሬዘንት እያደረግሽ like to support our community የምታደርጊው ነገር like በጣም I would admire it. So when you asked me, there was no hesitation on my end to contribute. Yeah, of course. እና እንዳልሽው ትንሽ የፓወር አፕ ያዘጋጀሁት ምንድነው ፕሮጀክት አሁን በቅርብ ጊዜ ሰራሁት አለና እሱን ለማሳየት ነው።
እሺ።
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So recently በቅርብ ጊዜ የሰራሁት ምንድነው እኛ ካምፓኒ learning experience consultant ይባሉ ቲም አሉ ዲፓርትመንት እና typically የሆነ ዲፓርትመንት or የሆነ ቲም ትሬኒንግ ምናምን ፕሮግራም ሲፈልጉ they usually send an email ምናምን በቃ there's a lot of back and forth እና እሱን they wanted to centralize the program እና ምንድነው ማድረግ የፈለጉት they wanted electronic form customize የሆነ ፎርም እና ሰምት ያደርጉ ኢሜል ኖቲፊኬሽን የሚልክ so that way የሆነ centralize የሆነ ቦታ ላይ all the request story ይሆናል and it's easy to manage it አይደለ? So in this case እኔ የምትጠቀምኩት የነበረው ፓወር አፕ ነው። ሊስቱን ይሄን ይመስላል። I'm going to go to the list setting. Pretty much project ትልቅ ነበረ። So እኔ mainly what I wanted to present here is just concept ነው። ስለዚህ በ6-7 ፊልድ ዝም ብዬ ክሬት አድርጌያለሁ። እኔ ጋር almost ወደ 30 ምናምን ፊልድ ነበር የነበረው። So ይሄ ነው learning request form ብዬ ስም ጠርቻለሁ። So what I'm going to do is creating a standalone app using Power App.
ካንቫስ አፕ ነው ማለት ነው።
ከዚህ
ሊስቱን ካስተማይዝ ያደርግሽ አይደለሽም። ካንቫስ አፕ ስክራች ነው።
Exactly. ያው እንዳልሽው you will have two options አይደለ? Either customize the list within SharePoint. That means ከዚሁ መተው ነው new ምናምን ብለው open የሚያደርጉት or you can actually design a Canvas app which is like a standalone app that they are able to utilize without having to come to the data source, which is SharePoint list አይደለ? So I'm going to go ahead and this is the list, about 5-6 fields አለው. So I'll go to Power Apps. Manny.chu is going to be Canvas app. So I want to make sure I started from scratch just to make sure I showed a full demo. So the app. So we can just go to new app at Belen, Canvas app. For this, we can just call it
training request app or
tablet view. I prefer that, so we'll just name it that. And then once it's open, it's just a screen with nothing on it. Obviously, የኛ data source SharePoint line ያለው, so we want to connect to our data source አይደለ? So this little thing, this little, cylinder የሚመስል ነገር, you will click on that. You want to add your data source. In our case, it's SharePoint, so SharePoint. You really want to avoid this because most companies, Dataverse ብዙ ጊዜ ስለማይኖራቸው ይሄን ከተጠቀማችሁ you will have some complications. So just use the regular organizational SharePoint. So just click on that. When you double click አረጋችሁት, it should be here. And because I've used this so many times, by default, without even having to put the site URL, ያመጣልኛል። ካላመጣ ደግሞ you just copy and paste your
የሳይቱን URL.
Exactly. So you just present that. So in my case, the list, the site is projects. The list I want to build an app with is called learning request form. So I'll select that, connect to Lalo. So obviously my data source is there. Now, what kind of form do I want to create, right? Within Power Apps, of course, you can create two kinds of form. You could either create an edit form or display form. It would have to be an edit form because you want people to input their requesting ያደረጉትን ነገር. So most times, and almost 100% of the time, I usually use edit form. Exactly. So we have our data source, which is the learning request form. What is the list? So data source, right? Then from here, I just so happen to have here learning request data source. Click ስናደርገው ፎርሙላ ይመጣል ማለት ነው. All right. So it will pretty much bring up everything you have on the list. So ከዛ በኋላ it's up to you, like ማትፈልጉትን on the new form መደበቅ ይቻላል ምናምን. So in this case, right here, if you notice, snap to column የሚል አለ. This allows you, how do you want the fields to be laid out አይደለ? So if you see it, snap to column set on 3, that means 1, 2, 3 rows. So if you want just 2, you can just turn 2, right? ከዚህ በኋላ again, if I wanted to rearrange it manually, እኔ ራሴ rearrange ማድረግ ብፈልግ አልችልም. Until when? Until I turn off this snap to column. ይሄንን off ካደረኩት ግን I should be able to move around all my fields ከዚህ በኋላ እንደምፈልገው ማለት ነው, right?
Okay.
So you always want to select the form. እዚህ ከውጪ እንደዚህ click ካደረጋችሁ you can select your form. So what I want is, I don't want the submitter email. አሁን አልፈልገውም. Submitter name, I want it to be the first one. So you can just drag it. So I want name.
ኤዲት ፍልጋ ሄደንም መስራት እንችላለን። ያንን አይደል ድራግ የምናደርገውን ነገር ከዚሁም እንችላለን። እዛ ኤዲት ፍልድ ብለንም እንችላለን አይደለ?
Exactly. Yeah. You're right. I guess it's all your preference አይደለ? እንደለመድሽው አይነት ነገር ነው.
Yeah.
So name እዚህ ጋር አለ. So what else do I want here? Request status አሁን አልፈልገውም. Lemon, because that's something I want the team, the learning development team, ብቻ edit form receive ካደረጉት በኋላ እንዲያዩት ነው የምንፈልገው. For now, I don't want it, so I'll just remove it. delete አደረጉትኝ. So we'll just go with the date. So if you notice, like, just hover over the little name. You can just drag it where you want it, because you can just, adjust it. So training topic አለ, department እዚህ ጋር እንዲሆን እፈልጋለሁ. So again, I just want to make sure I have it laid out the way I want it. Training እዚህ ጋር አደርገዋለሁ. And if you notice, obviously I'll just make this smaller. It's just playing around with it. So this is whatever you guys want to decide to do, however you want to do it. ዝም ብዬ አሁን move around እያደረኩት ነው. That's another day. I'm sure ብዙ የሰራሽው አለ. I'm sure you covered all the basic.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about that. So if you noticed, comment is multi-line text. Good. መጀመሪያ አስከፍቺው single line text አድርጎ ነው የሚያመጣው. So what you want to do is you want to select the whole form, and then property ላይ ሆኖ click on edit fields. እዚህ ጋር መተን we can change this edit text to multi-line text.
Yeah.
When we do that, you know, automatically ትልቅ ያደርገዋል ማለት ነው.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we have our little form, right? Formatችን አለን. Just I'm going to add a quick label just because I just like it to be a little bit more presentable.
Title ልጽፍበት ፈለግሽ?
Yeah, title, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Like you just add a label. Like form የሚያቆመው እዚህ ጋር ነው. So if you noticed, I kind of dragged the form because I wanted to add a label at the top. I want to home ላይ ሄደን we can fill the color. Typically, I just use the HTML hex color ነው የምጠቀመው. And then I'll just put the label. If you notice, I'll put a specific color. I'm just used to that because that's our company color. ለኔ የሚቀለኝ ለዛ ስለሆነ ማለት ነው. So, and then text tune, we can, if you want it to be center, ከዛ በኋላ, obviously I changed a lot of things around. So if you notice, እዚህ ጋር, it doesn't show what I want. I want to change the text to say whatever label I wanted. So just click on the drop down menu, find the text. While this is still selected, text tune, I want to change it to say, what was the learning?
Request. Oh, training request.
Training request. So I'll just make it a little bit bigger. This is something extra. ራሴ ትንሽ bother የሚያደርገኝ ነገር ነው. So I just want to make sure I have something up there. All right. So we pretty much have the form. So quickly, I think ማድረግ የነበረብኝ መጀመሪያ ይሄ ነበረ. So what is the request አይደለ? So obviously, we have a learning experience consultant. They want a form. We have these fields on the form. And we're going to build a Canvas app አይደለ? Canvas app build ስናደርግ new form እንፈልጋለን ማለት when the users click on a button new form ይመጣል submit information ሞልተው submit ያደርጋሉ ማለት ነው. When they submit it ደግሞ we're going to build a gallery ላይ ደግሞ ምን ያሳያል all the item that's been submitted is going to be displayed on the gallery ማለት ነው. እና እነዚህ ቲሞች እነሱ ማየት ይችላሉ everything that's submitted ማለት ነው. ሌላ ደግሞ we're going to build, so we're going to have one screen to build a form. We're going to have another screen to build a gallery. We're going to have another screen for success screen. ብየዋለሁ ለምን submit ሲያደርጉ we don't want the users to stay on the same page. We want to direct them to a different page that say, hey, your request has been submitted successfully የሚል ማለት ነው. We're also going to have a welcome screen. Welcome screen ማለት when they first come to the form, they're going to have a welcome screen with buttons for them to click on to be directed to either the gallery or the form. And እሱ ነው የምንሰራው ማለት ነው. So I know I kind of did it backward, but so we did the basic, you know, we got our data source, we inserted the edit form, exactly, and we made sure our data source is the form, that the learning request form that we wanted, and we rearranged the fields እንደምንፈልገው አድርገን ማለት ነው. So this part is done. Now we want to submit it once the form is completed, right? Typically, I like to add the submit button where the attachments, that's why in the exactly. So you have to, if I want a button to be inserted as newest, I have to select it, right? Select that again. I can just click a button. Of course, typically if you want to insert something within a field, you have to unlock it.
Yeah.
Unlock that again. While it's still selected, I'll just click a button. The button was going to be as newest ይሆናል ማለት ነው. So even ብዙ field ኖሮች scroll up and down ቢያደርግ ይሄ button up and down እንዳያደርግ ነው ማለት ነው. አብሮት እንዳይሄድ እዚህ ውስጥ ከተዋለሁ. ገባሽ አባባሌ? So let's say we have like, in my case, we had like almost 30 different fields. እና ሰው scroll up and down ሲያደርግ ይሄ ታች ነው የሚቆየው with the attachment. አብሮ scroll up and down አያደርግም. You know? That's the reason እዚህ ውስጥ ከተው ማለት ነው. Again, this is my little problem. I'm just going to change the color to match. I use the that was a company color, so we're just going to say while it's still selected.
Submit ማለት እንችላለን.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, it's just say button. I'm going to say save and submit. By the way, እንዳልሹ አሁን እዚህ ጋር መቀየር እችላለሁ ግን I guess እንደለመድሹ ነው አንዳንድ ጊዜ ገባሽ? So እንደዛ ይሆናል ማለት ነው. Okay. I know. Hold on a minute. Okay. All right. So we got the button. So ይሄንን select ሲያደርጉ what do we want to happen? አይደለ? So when they want it, when they submit it, the one thing we need to practice on is on select. So select the button. On select, here naga select direct. What do we want to happen? We want to make sure we are submitting the form.
So form submit
exactly.
መተው ያንን ክሊክ ሲያደርጉ form submit መሆን አለበት.
Exactly. One other thing I really want to emphasize, like get into a habit of naming your forms, naming your screen. ብዙ ነገር ሲኖርሽ it's going to be hard to keep up አይደለ? So I should have done this. So let's say አሁን ይሄ ምንድነው የመጀመሪያችን form ነው አይደለ? So get into a habit of naming these things, I'm going to say SCR, usually I abbreviate it SCR underscore. I'm going to say new form because new form ስለሆነ again it's up to you. ይሄ ደግሞ ፎርሙ ነው። ፎርሙ ደግሞ ምንድነው ስም ሁሌ ሰጠዋለሁ abbreviate አደርጋለሁ FRM underscore. I'm going to say new form. So SCR will let me know that's the screen and this is the form አይደለ? So on here ነገር button select direct we wanted to submit the new form. So submit form. What form do we want to submit? New form.
Yeah.
So as soon as you start typing, it should prompt it to go on. So this basic of the form is pretty much done. Then now. አሁን ምንድነው ሌላ ምንፈልገው because እንዳልኩሽ እዚህ ጋር when they submit it, we want them to go to a different screen to say, hey, your request has been submitted. So for that, we need to add, I'm going to minimize that. So right now we have one screen, which is the screen, the new form. I'm going to add another screen. All right. I'm just going to add another blank screen. Actually, scratch that. I'll delete this. I want to add a success screen.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm going to use this one. A success screen, say this was successfully completed. By the way, you can change it to say whatever, but in this case, that's what it says. So I'm gonna rename this screen just to get into the habit of,
ብዙ ከአንድ በላይ 3-4 ፎርም ሲሆን confused እንዳይሆን.
But exactly. So now we have a success screen to let the user know once they submit it, they all bring them to the screen saying your request has been submitted. How do we do that? So we're going to go back to the screen. So we want to submit the form. Once we want to submit the form, right? After they submit, once they click it, after the data is submitted, we want the users to go to this.
Navigate to another screen.
Exactly. So we want to navigate. So the minute you start to say navigate, you get the prompt ያደርግሻል ወደ success screen ነው መሄድ የምንፈልገው. So let's see. ገና ስታደርጊው ያመጣልሻል. Success screen. All right. And get into a habit of saving.
ሁሌም
Exactly. Because anything can happen. Hours of work can go down the drain and ሳታስቢው lose ታደርጊያለሽ. And then you learn from that's a shit mistake. Okay, so pretty much a lot of the basics are done here at Allah. So we have the fields we want the users to complete. We want submit Siaragu. We'll submit the information, and then we will gonna have them go to the success screen that says your request has been submitted successfully indeed. And so we can test it. But notice, like right now, test if I go to play, ምንም አናየም why because ከዚህ ከዲዛይነር ቪው ሲሆን we want to make sure on start we want to display the new form right new form ገና new form ገና ስለ ያመጣዋል የፎርም ስሜ ምንድነው from new form is that right frm underscore ስለ ያመጣልኛል so ዩዘሮቹ መተው click ሲያደርጉ typically once everything is completed link ላይ click ሲያደርጉ of course ይከፍተዋል አይደለ good still you need to put on start ምን ላይ እንዲሄዱ እንደምንፈልግ እዚህ ጋር identify ማድረግ እንችላለን so we want the new form good apple we want it to run on start right and now new እዚህ ላይ play test ማድረግ ብፈልግ አሁን we get the form so this is people speaker so I should be able to pull my name another thing before I do anything so this is a day field if you notice it's just random date we want when the users open up the form we want to be able to display the current date የዛሬውን ቀን እንዲያሳይ እንፈልጋለን ከዛ በኋላ it's up to them የፈለጉት choose ማድረግ ይችላሉ so in this case remember anytime you want to change something you always want to go to advanced select it go to advanced unlock it ከዛ click on the actual data not the data card not the card but the actual field default date ምን እንዲሆን ነው የምንፈልገው we want the default date to be today ለገና today type ስታረጊ it'll just bring it you just close it like today is the 1st so it'll display today's date but again if that's not the date I don't want it I can just select the 19th I have my name let's say I'm submitting a request for my marketing team I want QA quality assurance training ፈልጋለሁ for my team whatever comment I might have I'm just going to say test and save and submit see when we save and submit it's going to direct us to the success screen saying hey your request has been submitted successfully so at least we got that down አይደለ
ይሄ ራሱ ወደዚህ ስክሪን ማምጣቱ ሳምንት ካደረጉ በኋላ ምን ላድርገን ብለው ኮንፊውዝ እንዳያደርጉ እንዳይሆኑ በቃ እንዳለቀ ስራውን እንደጨረሱ ነው የሚያሳየው መልእክቱ አለ ብላንክ የሆነ ስክሪን ነው ከዚህ በኋላ ምን ላድርገን ብለው ነገር አያሳስብም ማለት ነው ለዩዘርስ
that is very good like just you always have to dumb down ሁሉ ነገር ስትሰሪ you always have to dumb down አንቺ ስለምታውቂው ብቻ so we are all ማለት አይደለም አይደለ so you really got to think about these things so I'm glad you said that just to make sure we're letting the users know hey you're good your request has been submitted so list ላይ መተን refresh ብናደርግ that item should be there አይደለ ስለተረፈው ማለት ነው all right so in addition to that እዚህ ጋር ልሰራረኩትኝ okay that's fine ሌላ ምን አለ
gallery
so አሁን ፎርሙ አልቋል we have a success screen so we know the users can be directed to the screen once they submit it now we want to create a gallery the gallery will be used for the learning experience consultant team to be able to view all the items that submitted is that gallery ላይ እንዲያዩት እንፈልጋለን so one thing I want to mention when you decide to build a Canvas app you really have to like think out the whole process lemon because what's the point of building a standalone app so they don't have to go back to the data source አይደለም እዚህ እንዲሄዱ እንፈልጋቸው ሁሉ ነገር በአፑ ላይ በፓወር አፕ ላይ እንዲጨርሱት እንፈልጋለን so in order for
that's good question እንደገና ሳሚት የሆኑ አይተሞችን ለማየት ወደ ሼርፖይንት መምጣት የለባቸውም እዛው ፓወር አፕ ላይ ነገር ማለቅ ያለበት
exactly እንደዛ ከሆነማ we can do might well just customize it everything አሁን እዚህ ላይ ያደረግነው እንዳለ እዚሁ customize አድርገን ከዚሁ መክፈት ይችላሉ ሁሉ ነገር እዚህ ማየት ይችላሉ ግን እንደዛ that's why you really have to be project ሲመጣ በደንበኛ መጠየቅ አለብሽ ገባሽ because ይሄ ነገር በጣም የሚፈልጉት ከሆነ የዚህን view then it's pointless to build a standalone app you might as well just customize it here ከዚሁ መተው open ያደርጋሉ submit ሲያደርጉ it's going to be back on the screen ሁሉ ነገር እዚህ ሆነላቸዋል but when you decide to build a standalone app you want to make sure you have all the navigations all the screens so there's no need really for them to go to the data source unless of course in the future let's say they want to export the hidden data with Excel export ማድረግ ነገር ቢፈልጉ of course እዚህ መተው ነው ምን ያደርጋሉ
yeah
ግን not on a day to day ገባሽ so now we're going to work on adding a gallery to have a gallery we need another screen አይደለ
yes
so we're just going to add a blank screen all right remember we're going to get into a habit of naming things ይሄ ነገር ካላረከበረን practice ካላረክሽው በኋላ ላይ it's like an additional work you know
yeah
so as you do it I'm going to say
gallery ማለት እንችላለን
yeah
training okay
so hey yes SCR it's just my abbreviation ብዙ ቦታም if you notice the tutorial I'm ካየሽ they use the abbreviation SCR because then ያገኘሁት so I use the same thing so we have the gallery we have the screen so within the screen we need to add a gallery so we want to insert now gallery home ላይ ነው
so insert ላይ ሆነሽ እዚህ right corner ላይ mixed reality ምላለች drop down
you know what አንዳንድ ጊዜ እዚህ ነው I know thank you good job okay so gallery ካረግን it gives us several options I typically use the vertical ብዙ የምጠቀመው vertical ነው so for this training I'll just prefer to use that so as soon as you click on your gallery it's going to ask you what data source do you want to use it for አይደለ again select that again okay
yeah
this is the data source right we have a gallery we have the data source that we want to display on this gallery which is the learning request form now I want to change the layout right now by default it has image low now one field low and again I want to be able to so you can either have a blank one all right እዚህ ጋር ሌያውቱ መቀየር ይችላል I typically depending on how many fields ብዙ ጊዜ 3 4 ምናምን አሳይ ምናምን ከፈለጉ እንትኑ ላይ ጋለሪው ላይ I use this one all right so from here of course you can rearrange it however you want it አይደለ so hey QA training I label የለውም okay so that's another thing right data on total because there's no label we know this is a date this is QA training what is QA training that's the training topic right
yeah.
so it needs a little bit of work so just readjust the fields to make it a little bit more presentable you can move it around I'm just going to make it smaller you know what I prefer the date to be here I mean the date to be right here so because that label እንፈልጋለን አይደለ so while this is still selected I want to add a label ይሄ ግን select መሆን አለበት in order to get the label in here because I want him እንዲሆን ፈልጋለሁ text to and our label ለማድረግ you have to put them in quotation double quotation within the quotation you can add the label so I want this to be training topic because yeh QA training is the training topic so I'm going to put it right above that and then to make it stand out again these are like little customization thing just I want to make sure it stands out and I'm going to make it a little bit maybe a little bit bigger so you know the difference I don't know why it's not changing it
yeah it's
changing okay that's fine because again I'll just click on that I'll just do control copy control V to begin duplicate the go
okay
and that hang out on date now also I'll change this to date okay but I want to show more information like submitter information who's the submitter I also want to show the department right so literally I'll just select one of them I'm going to do control copy control V duplicate አደርገዋለሁ ይሄ ምንድነው እንዲያደርግ የምፈልገው I want it to be department so this item instead of date I want department so the department
this item dot እያልን የሚያመጣልን ምርጫውን ራሱ prompt የሚያደርግልን already data እዛ ሶርሱ ላይ ስላለ ነው
because
ነው የምጥያቄ እንዳይኖር
exactly remember the data source is this so whatever is in here ziga I should be able to pull it
yeah
now if you notice this item that department is still an error lemon denon department is a choice field choice field ከሆነ it's not a text ዝም ብሎ appear ያደርጋል because this is a text field so this item that training topic I should display it ይሄ ግን department choice ስለሆነ ከchoiceው value ነው የምፈልገው
የትኛው value ነው የምለውን
Exactly. So when I put dot, it should show me, it will give me an option. I want the value. In this case, my department is marketing, right? And I want to make sure I know what this is. So I'm just going to copy one of the labels, control copy, control V. You can add from here. Good. And I just copy paste.
Yeah. Insert ብዙ level እንትን ማድረግ እንችላለን.
Yeah, exactly. You could just select this. You can say insert, you could do that. Exactly. And then I'm just going to change to department. And I'm just going to ask one more, which is we want to know who the requester is. Again, it doesn't matter which field. I'm just going to say control copy, control V. We want this to be the submitter name. Submitter still, it gives me the submitter name. Okay, why does it give me an error? Because this is a people picker name, right? So whenever it gives you guys an error, and you just put dot. When you put dot, it gives you different options. In this case, I want to know the display name of the submitter. So if I click on that, it should display my name, right? Yeah. And then again, the label. I'm just going to be control copy, control V. I want this to be submitter name. And of course, I'm just going to make it wider. Again, you can make it so much prettier, like Zare, Swaralam topic action. Just because, again, since this bothered me a little bit, I'll just add a label to identify this is our gallery. I just added a label just to keep it uniformed because I can look to screen da. So I'm just gonna this label needs to be, because I use a darker intent. Oh, sorry.
What? Feel like.
Yeah, better. Okay, perfect. All right, so label, we want to show this is a gallery view. Because ቅድም በደንብ explain ስላደረኩት last one kind of running through it, but it's just a matter of making you look more presentable, making it so training, request, gallery. We want to make sure it's centered. And then make it a little bit bigger and bold, and we're good. So we'll just move it up so it's up there. All right. So pretty much we have our gallery.
Yeah, by the way, the አንድ item ብቻ እያሳየ ያለው ያኛ submit ያደረግነው form ላይ item 1 ብቻ ስለሆነ ነው.
Good call. You're right. I'm glad.
ሶስት አራት አይተም ብኖረን ያን ሁሉ ያሳየን ነበረ። አንድ ባለፈው ማንስቻለሁ ጋለሪ ላይ the first row ላይ የምናደርገው ነገር ታች ሌሎቹ ላይ ሁሉ ሪፍሌክት ያደርጋል እንደ ቴምፕሌት ስለሆነ እሱንም እዚህ ጋር ማንሳት እንችላለን ብዬ ነው። just one item ብቻ ለምን ሆነ እንዳይለው ብዬ ነው።
That's actually a good point. No, that's a very good point. So another request was on the gallery, they want to make sure the new request is displayed at the top. So Leila request submit Barek.
So listen to one ከላይ እንዲሆን ማለት
So yeah, why don't we just do it በደንበኛ አይደለ? So we're going to go to the new form, right? We'll submit another one. The 19th. I'm going to do accounting. I'm going to say second request because we want to test the view, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to put demo. All right, we'll submit it. Again, as we said earlier, it should direct us to the success screen. Now, if we go to the gallery view, now we have 2 items, right? But if you notice, my second request is second. But what the request was,
it should show up in the top.
At the top. So where do we change that? By default, when you insert a gallery, item like, it shows the name of the list, right? The name of the form. We want to sort this. We want to sort this list based on the ID descending. So ascending and descending. Descending one is 1 through 10 one, ascending is from 1, descending from 10, right?
Yeah.
So we want to sort it. So since we want to sort it, we say sort. It gives it to you, right? You'll sort it. This is the name of the list that we want to sort, right? How do we want to sort it? By ID, right? Sort it by ID. And how do we want it to ID to appear? Ascending or descending?
Ascending.
Ascending kalnama, we want to descend, right?
Oh yeah, descending. Yeah.
Descending, yeah. Descending. And not close it. So now, if we did it right, second request will be at the top, right? So we got another request action, we got it out the way. So we got our gallery. We know the most recent item will be at the top, right? The soup, arganal. Now, what else do we have left at this stage? You see this little arrow.
Yeah.
So let's say salasa ምናምን field አለ አይደል ለዛ form ላይ you can't display all salasa field እዚህ ላይ so you only display like በጣም የምትፈልጋቸውን information እዚህ ላይ ታደርጊያለሽ gallery ላይ now let's say the reviewer want to see everything that's on the form so when they click on this we want them to go to the edit form አይደለ እዛ ለመሄድ ደግሞ it needs a little bit of work right so this is where global variable comes into play because we want
እንግዲህ እንደሰማችሁ እዚህ ድረስ መተናል ከሜሮን ጋር ዛሬ ሁሉንም አንጨርሰውም የሚቀጥለውን ክፍል ደግሞ በሚቀጥለው እናነሳለን ስለ ግሎባል ቫሪያብልም ልታነሳ ነው ብዙ ነገሮችን ነው ከበር የምታደርገው መቼም የኔን ድፍረትም ልታዘባላችሁ እንደዚህ አይነት ዕውቀት ያላችሁ ሰዎች ተደብቀው እኔ እዚህ ጋር አብሬ ከእናንተ ጋር እየተማርኩ ነው አይደል በጣም ነው ማመሰግናት ሜሮንን እናንተም በጣም ነው ማመሰግናቸው የሚቀጥለውን ክፍል ደግሞ በሚቀጥለው ሳምንት ይዘን እንቀርባለን ማለት ነው መልካም ሳምንት